What's up, everybody? Steve Pletz back for part 2. The discussion is the idea of interest rates and that objection of, hey, why would I move if my interest rate is going to be 2 or 3 times as high? But the thought process isn't truly about the interest rate, it's about the equity. First scenario, I have a client who owns an investment property that right now is probably worth about $650,000. Let's say that he's going to be at $600,000. He owes about $200,000 on the property, and he makes net about $1,000 a month. He said, Steve, I've got a ton of equity, and I make $1,000 a month. Pretty good investment. Let's dive into the numbers here. He owes about $200,000. It's worth about $600,000 after fees. That means he has about $400,000 in equity right now. And of that $400,000, he is making exactly zero on the $400,000. Now, certainly he's making money off his original investment, but the thought process being that on that $400,000, if he did an exchange and was able to take that equity and put it into something else, even if all he got, like the $12,000 per year that he's making on his $400,000, makes him 3% per year. You follow the math here? And of course, I'm not trying to oversimplify this in many different ways, but I do want you to recognize that many people, if you purchased during COVID, slightly after COVID, or before COVID, what you saw is a very low interest rate and huge amounts of gains. And those gains are entirely unrealized. They're simply on paper. And so sometimes what makes most sense is utilize your $400,000 that in this case, for this gentleman in San Marcos, take that property, roll it into something else where you may be able to get a higher return. I mean, if you took that $400,000 and got a 5% return or a 10% return, now all of a sudden we're talking about $20,000 or $40,000 annual, which makes more sense than $12,000. The second example is the example of your primary residence. And again, the thought process simply being, I want you to think about ways that you can utilize your equity. I want you to think about opportunities to get out of PMI if you're in PMI, because you should have a fair amount of equity that allows you to show 20%. But in some circumstances, the PMI will just simply go away. And beyond that is looking at what are the opportunities for me to utilize this equity. Selling is just one of several different options, including home equity, lines of credit, a HELOC, and other options. Consult with a professional and look at, do these investments still make sense? With most other investment classes, I meet with my financial planner quarterly. And I would just say that is because we look at where are things at in my life, how have my investments performed in the past, and how are they still continuing to perform as I want them to for this place that I am at in my life. And I just feel like it makes sense to at least look at those opportunities. Are things changing? Is there an opportunity for me to do an exchange into something different? Consult with a professional. Meet with a realtor. Don't meet with any realtor. Meet with me. Meet with us. And let's talk about how these things are performing and if there's any other opportunities for greater places where you can be putting your money. Happy investing out there. We hope to connect with you very, very soon.